in the burning sun. 16 men and a dead man's chest. Yo, 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 yo.
Some good nobody, so them gone insane. Now them a come with them drugs and cocaine. See them want to do it all over and over again.
Yes, indeed, of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, East, West, North, South, Central, in Trinidad, or friends in Tobago, and wherever you are streaming on the World Wide Web. A pleasant good day to you at this point in time. Yes, indeed, a long, long time ago. But it is said that there is nothing new under the sun. And that we have been there, we have done that. And therefore, of course, what we are exhibiting tonight and future nights is merely a record and analysis for, of course, for you to make your own interpretation and draw your own conclusions. Because never before in my life on earth so far, and having read, nothing like this has happened, except, of course, for the invention of the steel pan. Because this is really social re-engineering at its best. It's just that it was, and probably still is, precocious, meaning that it's an event before its time. But the time is here. The time is here. The political atmosphere is correct. And the right people is at the helm. And you'll be hearing a little more because there are other contemporary and activities that would make anybody smile, make anybody feel comforted to be in Trinidad and Tobago at this point in time. And more significantly, the addressing of socio-economic and psycho-cultural issues. Never before in a mass population context, and having regard to all of the nuances or all of the variables and the disposition by too many that the world is coming to an end, having regard to the tribulations and some of the matters that are confronting not just Trinidad and Tobago, but certainly the hemisphere, the Western Hemisphere, and indeed geopolitical activities in the Middle East, of course, Ukraine, Russia, and we can go on and on. And what are the significance? But they said that all politics is domestic, and indeed there is a much more deeper and a more profound saying that charity begins at home and ends abroad. And so it is in that context I'm saying to you that we must focus, and where I stand in terms of being at home, East Port of Spain, Laventil, Beetham, etc., and I have been at pains to indicate that if you do not address these problems, the problems that is associated or that abounds in these communities, then Trinidad and Tobago as a society, as a nation, certainly will not be the better for it. You must address the Laventil question. You must address the East Port of Spain question. You must address those outskirt or outlying or suburban communities from Diego Martin in the west, of course, right up to Toko in the east, where this broadcast or this nightly effort has been conceived and focused. So I want to, of course, start with the fact that we must therefore be united throughout. And while, of course, I started with looking nostalgically at some past emotional as well as practical representation in song, yes indeed, yes indeed. One nation, one motive, one objective, increase secured security, increase wealth, and good camaraderie.
He came from Calcutta, a stick and a bag on his shoulder, Itoban and the Capra. So I am Patsy of India. India, the Indian ship and the slavery bind together to resist in unity. There was no more Mother Africa, no more Mother India, just Mother Trinity. My Mahuta planted sugar cane down in the Caroni plain. Ramlog and Bastel percussion Jahaji Pai, brotherhood and the boat. Jahaji
Pai. Yes, indeed. One Trinidad, one Tobago, one Trinidad and Tobago. But let's go to the line immediately. Look as though they give me a chance to do my introductions. But let's go straight to the... Yes, so let me pause. Right, of course, if Trinidad was a boat, yes, all of us will sail and are sailing on it. Let me make sure and get to the my bearings correct here in terms of communicating with you.
Hello?
Are you hearing me? No, you ain't hearing me yet. Are you hearing me now?
Yes, I hear you.
Right,
Good
beautiful.
Night,
yes, man. Good night to you. How are you going?
yeah, good night. I came down and the big good night to you guys.
Yes, man.
I just come to pay you a little, right? Because I can't hear all the things because you have to get so much activity. Yeah, but who have ears will hear and who have eyes will see my brother.
Yes.
Yeah, keep up the good way.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that commendation. All right, people. Of course, the music was interrupted, but I think it's for a good cause. Let's hear what, of course, what's called Mighty Trini have to say about the patriotism that we all must express. Because last night, of course, I did indicate that there are certain fundamentals that have already been presented. No need to reinvent the wheel. No need. We have done it right here in these communities. All you need to do is to capitalize and utilize the infrastructure that was laid. And here, of course, in business, it is called institutional knowledge. But I want to tell you, we have not just the knowledge, but the experience to address those seemingly intractable issues about our young people, gang warfare, and their apparent lack of ambition, and to, of course, engage in the worrisome exercise as to where our country will be going if we allow the situation to continue to deteriorate.
Sailing on the earth, go sail on it. Oh Lord, I go sail on it. Whether it fast or slow, wheresoever it goes, I go in with it. Tell them I go in with it. I go sail when the tide is flat. I go sail when the tide is near. If she going to hell and back, I go make the trip. I bound to make the trip. I sailing with the boat, sink or float. I sailing with the boat. I sailing with the boat, sink or float. I sailing with the boat. Through hurricane and storm, hell or high water come. And when she needs a push, I'm going to push like bush. If Trinidad is a boat, I go sail on it, sink or float.
Yes, indeed. And what an expression of patriotism. What an expression of commitment to country. And just before I came on, and a little earlier, and it's too often for me not to express or reiterate my own position on this matter. And I reaffirm, because they told me, don't say that, Smith, don't say that. Well, let me reaffirm. I will work for free for this government. Let me repeat. I will work for free for this government. In other words, not for the PNM. In any form or fashion. Because they have been the bane, they have been the distress and the destruction. And communities such as East Port of Spain, where I'm located now, and Laventille, Beetham, Sealets, and so on, ought to be in a better position of optimism. I'm not saying that utopia would have manifested itself, but certainly the dystopia that we now experience for too long has to be as a consequence. And of course, it is provable. So I have no doubt, and I have no qualms that not only would I be challenged, but I have supreme confidence that I can respond appropriately and convincingly. I have no difficulty with that. So last night, for example, we did talk about the institutions that we would have communicated with. And we put, of course, some of the parameters and some of the ideological and some of the objectives as to why, inclusive of, as if we took on the responsibility of government by engaging, of course, those embassies that we talked about last night. And one of the objectives, apart from cultural exchange and other opportunities that may be of a material and financial nature, what was uppermost in our minds is that here it is, the community of East Port of Spain, Nelson Street in particular, is mentioned in the advisories against Trinidad and Tobago by these metropolitan countries on whom we will have to depend for investment of one kind or another. And of course, one kind or another means here, other here means association, simply because they are the major powerful and prosperous or rich countries of the world with the appropriate technology, etc. We maybe could, but it's almost impossible to produce a plane, for example. I saw some years ago, the Amars were trying to create a type of vehicle, but we simply are too small, both in terms of geography, in terms of population, and in terms of innate or endowed resources. So let us not waste time. But we have a niche, and it's not just sun, sand, and sea. It's not just that. There are others, of course, that will be so, and if used properly, can make Trinidad and Tobago the model nation that many would have aspired, having regard to the cosmopolitan nature of our society, along race, along culture, along religion, and of course ideology, concepts, and abstract positioning. But we have, of course, Trinidad and Tobago being the melting pot that it is, a cosmopolitan melting pot, and that is reflected in a mega way around Carnival time. No one seemed to be above the other. Commonality and the democracy seem to strive in that environment, but only temporarily, ephemerally. So there we have it. So tonight what I want to do is to prove some of the things that we said last night that would have been more abstract, and of course you have to take it cognitively and intellectually. By highlighting the recordings by an objective scribe, if you want to call that an objective scribe, which of course in our case is the newspapers. And you will see a number of course, newspaper articles recording what we would have done. So it's not just talk. It's not just projecting one's own agenda from a selfish or a self-serving perspective, but merely to demonstrate and to pile on the provable nature, so that those who are sitting in their armchairs and watching and saying, well, why not? Nah, that is impossible. Smith didn't do that, or that didn't happen. We're going to prove it to you tonight. We're going to prove it to you tonight, because you can't tell me the newspapers lie. Can't tell me that. And this is just a fraction, a minuscule portion of what ought to have been recorded as far as work is concerned. Because we didn't stop at the MLIO, the Mobile Laventille Improvement Organization effort. We didn't do that. We understood the necessity of getting others on board. So what we did, by virtue of these very newspaper or media recordings chronicling our efforts over the years, we were able to incite and motivate other leaders in different parts of the community. And when they contact me, or if they did not contact me, but you could see the stamp of Emelio and the motivational influence that it would have had in making people feel that they have the wherewithal to create in their own environment, in their own communities, institutions and or organizations, whether it be on an annual basis. We have some, of course, some leaders operate on an annual basis, and we will look at leadership probably tomorrow as well. And the typography of the leadership that exists here, you will be surprised. Yes, we did all of those kinds of analysis. Why is it that you want to reinvent the wheel? I don't know. But we are putting it here to you because we know that this will reach, of course, where it matters. Simply because we want to save time. We want to focus on what works and what has worked. And therefore you capitalize and you expand and you increase. That is what knowledge is all about. Building an atmosphere, building an ecology of knowledge, know-how. Remember, of course, I'll take you back to the Renaissance. Remember that? I think it's about 1215 thereabout. That period they call the Dark Ages, when many of the things that were learned and were understood were either shelved or tucked away, or the existing population at the time didn't see it worthy of consideration or pursuing. When it was like Galileo and the people like Christopher Columbus came and looked into the archives and said, but listen, this thing makes sense. It cannot be that the earth is flat. And therefore, when he couldn't convince his own king, his own sovereign, the Portugal king and queen, because he was from Portugal, I'm talking about Christopher Columbus, he then traveled to Spain, which is next door, of course. And Isabella and they said, but listen, whilst we are skeptical, we're going to finance your venture. Nina the Pinta and the other boat, the other ship. And you're going to give you some sailors made up of persons who have no ambition anyway, because they are criminals. And that is what Christopher Columbus would have had to prove everybody wrong with that, what I consider to be inhospitable, or that inappropriate, or that less than favorable scenario. And he accomplished. And he did, in fact, achieve his objective. I'm on air.
I know you're on.
I'm on air. I'm on air right now, and everybody here in the world. So I hope it's that thing.
Good night.
All right, okay, very good.
Fine. Yeah, bye.
Yeah, all right, I'll see you after the program. Yeah. Yes, so that is how it is. So I am very, very confident that we have done all of the groundwork for the transformation. Some prefer to say the paradigm shift. And others, of course, will try to keep us in a state of paradigm paralysis. Paradigm paralysis. But we are transformatory. So what we did, as I said, and I cannot overemphasize, this program is designed to bring those knowledge and those awareness to the forefront so that we can effect the change and, of course, get you involved wherever you are, inside and outside the community, in order to, of course, effect the change that is required. And it includes attitudinal change. Attitudinal change. It is not just moral, it is not just spiritual, it's not just ethical. It is not even scientific in terms of familiarization with the information technology that is a part and parcel of modern day existence across the globe. It is more than that. It is about respect for the dignity of the person. It is about respect for property. It is respect for hard work and the benefits thereof. No one should take away because you have decided to work hard. You too, the person who is attempting to take away without being productive as a parasite, they must come to the realization that it doesn't work like that. Let's go to the line. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Pleasant good night to you and your listeners.
Yes, good night to you, my friend.
Good night to you, Robert Prime
Share. Yes, share. Like. Yes, go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, so you know, in the past we had conversation with regards to the police conduct and them and the police something that they have in regards to the completion of the report and the finding, where it cannot give no directive to the Commissioner of Police or DDPP to charge no officer or to no disciplinary action against no police officers. Right?
Yeah.
And we had them conversation before, and with the new thing what happening right now with regards to the young lady and the police shooting.
Yes, Masili and Joshua.
Right. So you see what I was telling you before. You see the urgency and the need to have some mechanism in place to hold these officers accountable. Let me tell you something. Plenty people will be aware of what is going on in the place and thing, but you see the police that was involved in that matter.
Yes.
Them attached to St. Joseph. Right?
Yeah.
And sometime last year, officers from that said station, 4 officers to be exact, leave Northern Division, pass Central Division, end up in Southern Division, all the way to Ikakas, and kill a man, and nothing never come out of it. Kill a man in the house. Let me tell you something. You see the actions of the Commissioner of Police and the things that he's saying? The police service is highly motivated to kill people. And it's clear to see with this whole scene here, with this incident, with this police shooting here, it's clear to see the distance they will go to cover the side. You're clear to see. You know the frightening thing? Saturday Guardian, it's an article with a statement from a senior state attorney, right? And his position, he's supporting the Director of Public Prosecution with regards to this matter here. But you know the outcome of this whole thing gonna be? It gonna be a challenge for the young lady. Right? The position she in right now, she disabled and whatnot. And to go through this whole ordeal to the court and thing. But you know the whole outcome of this? Yeah, what will happen with this? It will go to the High Court. If she failed in the High Court and she failed in the Appeal Court, definitely the Privy Council, right, will reject that matter. And then she get turned around and sue the state for malicious prosecution. That is the only outcome I see with that. But right now, the police and them right now is highly motivated to kill people. You have a commissioner of police putting a Punisher patch on his official uniform. What signal you sending? I told you something the other day with the Homeland Security Minister.
Yes.
It's high time now he stepped down. I tell you, I not supported this government, but I tell you, he will cause the real problem in this government. Is it that fella? All right, let's watch. This thing is not no muscle in it. We want brain. We don't want muscle in it. I want to leave some room for the corner, but let me tell you something. I have some videos. I want to send you.
Okay, do that.
And I want to see how Brazil this video all the police operation live stream, and it's on YouTube for the world to see, for transparency.
Yeah.
Right? So I will send them videos and they will see how Brazil is doing.
Thank you very much.
I'll look on listening.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Why is the young man was speaking there? And of course, he's a young man. I've had conversations with him on many occasions, and he seemed to be very, what I consider to be sociologically sensitive to issues that of unfairness, and at the same time, of course, give commendation where it is required. But whilst he was speaking, however, I was thinking of the incident with that, I think 5 young people, where initially the police said that they were shot at, words to that effect, and then it turned out that it wasn't so because of the presence of a video that was recorded the entire incident, but they weren't aware of, and they were caught with their pants down. This situation seemed to be a similar situation as well, and therefore what they are attempting to do now is to backtrack and to deflect. In other words, telling us that we didn't see what we saw on the video, and even what we saw could not be interpreted other than how they have interpreted it, and clearly presented it to the DPP, who does not have investigative powers. So they have to investigate and then, of course, send to the DPP for his consideration based on where the evidence would have led in a connection or in, let's say, conformity with the criminal law. And he raised a point about extrajudicial killings, because I think that is where he was also going. That the country is the worse for it. According to him, that is my interpretation. If this is allowed to escalate. But I want to say we will have a challenge, or put another way, those who are that minded, because the whole the offices in the law enforcement and in the responsible ministries, etc., for dealing with law, order, peace and security, and of course the execution or the enforcement of the criminal law, I want to tell them that if that is the role they want to play, bet your bottom dollar, as certain as day gives way to night and vice versa, and as constant as the Northern Star or immutable as a set can't change. We saw what happened in the Philippines. While, of course, there's, because of the scale of the population and the scale of the problems that they would have had, somebody took it upon themselves at the highest level to treat with the problem, and human beings as they are, and that is why you have, of course, a middle or a neutralizing or an objective element between the executive and the legislature, are talking about, of course, the judiciary. And if you want to play executioner and judicial officer as well, from the executive perspective, because you have an apparently difficult challenge, crime and criminality, young people, gang warfare, etc., home invasion, kidnappings, etc., and you decide to take that route, in spite of all of the juggernaut resources that would have been put at your disposal to effectively treat with the matter, and instead of resigning or abandoning, or should I say giving up, you decided to treat with the matter extrajudicially. That is what that is all about. Then you'll end up, I think, he has a name like Tutti, talking about the former Philippine president, who is now facing, and I think has been fighting or has been extradited to the International Criminal Court in The Hague. I don't talk on that matter. I don't talk. Because, of course, institutions such as Amnesty International are looking in. I'm a member of Amnesty International. I've been so for a very long time. And while I have not pronounced or make any formal approaches to Amnesty International on these various matters that are now either engaging or in the past have engaged the population into questionable police activities, I want to warn the police, I want to warn law enforcement that there are these international obligations that Trinidad and Tobago is obliged to focus and to conform to, and you will not be doing the country any favor if we are seen as a rogue state because of your conduct, or because of your indolence, your laziness, your tardiness. You get to the resources of the country, biggest or huge slice of the national budget, then do your surveillance, do your networking, monitor the cameras, put cameras on yourselves, invest in that. Because anything short of that transparency and citizens are killed, there will always be suspicion that it was orchestrated by virtue of some kind of conspiracy, especially in circumstances where the killing ought not to have taken place. And that particular killing clearly ought not to have taken place. It's clear. It's clear. It ought not to have taken place. Hands up in the air. First and foremost, glass wind down on the driver's side, hands up in the air. How how killing is a product of that? How? And even if you said that a shot was fired, the fact is that it is clear it was not that individual who had his hands up in the air. Come on. So you only left the casual observer to say that the intention that day was to kill, was to use brute and excessive force in order to treat with that situation. And that level of high-handedness, that level of excessive taking upon yourself authority has to be neutralized. Could jump high, they could jump low, has to be neutralized. Cannot have a runaway police service, or put another way, legally arm the people with that kind of attitude. Cannot. It is untenable. It cannot survive. And it has repercussions for the wider economy and the standard or the status of Trinidad and Tobago in the region, in the hemisphere, and of course in the world. So I will caution, behind a state of emergency, it does not mean that it is the wild, wild west. On both sides. So whilst I'm cautioning the law enforcement, I'm also cautioning those persons who believe that in spite of the emergency and outside of the state of emergency, you want to engage in criminal behavior, utilizing, of course, arms, then the likelihood that a legitimate scenario may well emerge where you would have lost your life. A legitimate scenario. A legitimate shootout. But of course, some people are asking in that particular situation, what happened? Why were they running? And of course, the initial information we got before the presence of that video was that there was a shootout. That was the impression one got. Well, I don't see how a shootout could take place, because a shootout means that the two parties are engaged. Well, I can't see how a shootout could take place when the car, when it crashed, if you want to call it that, at the corner, only now winding down glass. If there was a shootout prior, glass would have been down to engage. So the police has a lot of questions to answer. We await, of course, the judicial stage of the process, and I could anticipate right now that it will be a defense paradise, a defense lawyer paradise, a defense counsel paradise. The prosecution will have some difficulty in presenting their case. It's clear. No one has to be, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to see that. So I thought it was important to caution both sides, those who insist on engaging. And here is where programs like what we are advocating on this program be revisited, and in some instances expanded and proliferated to the point where it could consume, it could engulf the entire country. For what? To making certain that young people not only have alternatives to that negative behavioral pattern that is only destructive and only danger lurks as a consequence. But they must be able to have alternatives. And here is where we are going. We are not saying that we are the panacea. We are not saying this is the panacea. What we are saying, however, it is superior to what is being offered now, in spite of the juggernaut financial position of the state. In other words, the police cannot do it. It is not a police issue. It's an all of community issue that requires the input of every single member of the community. Every single, and the community here means the business community. It also means the government agencies. It also requires those who have the interests and the facilitation outside of Trinidad and Tobago, talking about the technological aspect, the cameras, etc., so that we have a transparent and accountable process. But to say that the police could solve crime per se, you are living either in a fool's paradise or that there is some kind of epiphany. There's some kind of what I consider to be amorphous creature or configuration that does not square with reality. Does not square with reality. And all what is happening today, we have seen it before. A lot of belligerent talk. Prior to this iteration, we had a previous iteration with, of course, Gary Griffith, calling, of course, scum and cockroach and all of that. And the situation has remained either static or has escalated. Why not try what we know? Over 6,000 young people graduated. Some of whom are in the very police service. I don't know whether they are corrupt or otherwise, but we hope not, because they were trained to lead and to, of course, do all that is right to their fellow men and women. But let's go to the line. A pleasant good night to welcome to the corridor.
A pleasant good night to you, Uncle Lennox.
Good night to you as well, my friend. So you see, I've proven tonight by way of newspaper, chronicle, or recordings what I said last night. So you see that very, very poignantly tonight. But go ahead.
So all in sundry, left, right, center, forward, up and down the street, share the life. All you promote and support Uncle Lennox a little bit. Because here what's going on. Who live, live. Who dead, dead. Give me a break. But you know, nobody asks for them to resign and them to go home. But my Prime Minister now, to fight it tooth and nail, fight an association, red tape, and the PNM leave behind and create a system that does not work the right way, but the asking for she to go home. Then here we're going on. Saturday coming, please God. The fatal Razak will be redactant at the first coming, right? And she, mother and father, will be coming. She was born here, and she'll stay here, and she'll die here on she own time and when the good Lord ready for her. So here what's going on. She like Dennis Plummer. She's not leaving. And I asked him for Penny to go, Marvin to go, Faris to go, and John Bates. And the independent PNM senator, what is his name again?
But it's so many of them.
The one who, the lawyer, who said that he consulted with three.
Yeah, I know you're talking about, but all of them.
I'll get him later. Yeah.
Seem to be infected by this malaise of foot and mouth disease. But go ahead.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, when them so over the course of justice, right, and not given the right teeth to the system, and the PNM now is branded as a criminal organization that condone, support and harbor criminal activity. Eh? So, you see, when a government now is being in charge to change all these systems and again resistance, is a nice thing when the people, like the PNM, 13 of them, trying their best to mislead. That is why Lavantil, for Lavantilians, had to go outside and ask people to sympathize, to help the same people in the resident to uplift them. You see it? That is PNM. That's how they just fix things and they love their supporters. But nobody asking for them to go and stay where they is, you know. Eh? But the nice thing about it, they want those who working and putting a dent and making an inroads in criminal activity. You telling me the Police Service Commission, under the last 10 years, we had things going on similar. When they come out and they say free man neck, move the knee on the neck. The young lady who was shot on the beatum through the window. What was she? The pregnant girl. What was the next set of young boys that who get shot? Under the PNM. And up to this day, no legislation to address them kind of things, that they will have law governing it. So that when these things happen, it have proper institution and non-governmental linked bodies, independent officers will see about these cases and them and have, when they rule, they bring the confidence, and the confidence that the police service remain intact with no stigmatization, and the chip fall where it may. So you see the khaki pants mean? So they create a problem, they leave a problem, no solution, and still fight it. So you see what they get in there? No. We are saying all of them fellas and women who we talking about, here going in the palm of the hand, they go without sinner. Because I know I can peel the first big stone because I go with plenty sin. Because I want to build a good foundation and ask for repentance. But you see, when resistance comes and the confidence breaks down and they try to fix it and they see plain that they get a stonewall and objection. So the governing bodies we have to pull up on the socks and ask for legislation and independent organization to really have teeth that they could buy. Okay, Lennox, I want to ask you a question tonight.
That's good.
How long does it take to get a WASA connection?
In some instances, it's forever. In other instances, it's almost immediate. If, for example, he is former Minister Hines. So, but of course, it takes, for the ordinary person, it takes an inordinate length of time.
About 4 years, 5 years, I think?
I will not be surprised.
Yeah, so that is the next thing and all too, right? So when we're talking about fixing the system, because there are some people in Cedros, right? They apply for water connection, and it seems as though they can build their own desalination plant in the sea before they get water connection.
Yeah,
so
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. That is how the system is that dysfunctional. But go ahead.
Yeah, so while we are about fixing things, that is one I want to see tomorrow. I would like to call in and highlight it on your next program.
No problem.
So let's ask him, because it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Make it 3 years. 3 years that the people apply for water. And same old. Yeah? So, I thank you for the call.
Yes.
And I listen. Keep up the good work.
Thank you
And
very
we're
much.
going forward with it. Yeah?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. YC was speaking there, and he was talking about the PNM, and he has this position as I have. But I like to be a little more specific. There should be a high degree of specificity because people question, well, why Lennox? Why would you work for the UNC for free but never work whether free or not for the PNM? Well, I think first and foremost, I must say that the PNM has collapsed on itself. And really and truly, they have no regard for communities such as these. They see it politically as nuts already shell, and therefore there is no risk taking. So Marcel and Heinz, when he say that he win by so much and so much, I just laugh because we know that the people have been so conditioned over many decades, and as a consequence, you have this being produced. But they never catered for a Lennox Smith nor a corridor transformation to, of course, decondition the people. Let's go to the line. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Hello, good night, Lennox.
Good night to you.
Corridor Transformation family.
Yes, man.
And Southwestern, the accent how long our connection is take. Ask Twiggy. The
like
pressure that mold it undermine the UNC. Lennox, you say you want to work with the UNC for free? Fire about that. You can't be working for you work for the last 9 years plus and a decade for free. You fight and twice. You supposed to,
again last time.
You supposed to have a handbag, a little small handbag at the side.
But
you
I conditioned it last night. I said that my patriotism is non-negotiable, you see. But it doesn't mean in all practice that because I say that that's where I'm coming from. But because I had to eat, I have family to see about, etc. But
I
you understand? For emphasis.
Yes,
go ahead.
They might get carried away and you'll get a big position quick.
I hear you.
But Lennox, I'm glad for the country right now with Marvin Gonzalez and the 9 bloggers and them who come in the last 9 minutes the song of Gypsy sing, ship is sinking. Because they jump off a ship and come on UNC bandwagon. I'm glad for them, man. To get opportunities. I have my qualification. I can paint rock and thing, you know.
Yeah.
I can rake grass and thing, you know.
Yeah, but we said it last night. It cannot be at the expense of people like you. That's the point.
Yeah, look.
It could be inclusive, but not excluding elements that are reliable consistently and over a very extensive period of time, and not something ephemeral or
I
just
talked to the minister of utility early. I went by your office. They say he have a work for me in Wasta. Tell me to go and talk to the mission Baba, the chairman, all them was there. Next week, I bring him this, bring that. I drop him a thing up to now. They can't call me. I supposed to be the topic in the world because KFC was costing the PNM for the last 9 years, going out there and getting tear gas, fighting the PNM and in the belly of the PNM I was 91.9.
You and I run down Dundalon Street together.
Yeah, when you
running from tear gas.
Give me running from tear gas. I'm with my little daughter.
Yeah.
But I'm glad for the black African people who get you under the UNC because they support the PNM for donkey years and they never get no kind of opportunities under the PNM. But it has the black loyalists in the UNC need them kind of opportunities too. I like to see my brothers COP calling.
And I want to say to you as well that the Prime Minister has recognized that. I said it last night. In fact, tomorrow night I will bring what she said so that you get it from the horse's mouth. That she understands that and that there is room for all. But it cannot be so evidently, so conspicuously.
All who listening and who close to the Prime Minister, she Joyce and
inadequate, yeah.
She know thing and he crying out and she knew the Prime Minister know I wasn't living here. I told him, we don't have guy fighting 7 parliament down by the higher down there, you know.
All right. Right. Right.
When we go out there and
Yeah,
call
but
them
I
close
saw
the
you.
borders,
I
close
saw
the
you
borders.
trying to grab a bandana and all of that. Wise, of course, a tear
Well,
gas kind of stuff fall right in front of us.
get
Yeah.
real enemies.
Yeah.
As a man, support the UNC full 100 because I know the performance of the Honorable Prime Minister from 2010 to 2015, but I'm glad for all them reject PNM. Southwestern asked Twiggy when you get water. That she are mole in the UNC today. She leaking information to the PNM. Like a little political strategy.
Well, let's not go there. Let's not go there. You just commended her for getting something
Nah,
that
not
she would
she.
never get.
I'm not commending she. I
Oh.
call him a Tara.
Okay, all right.
Like them rest of them, not Twiggy and them boy.
Okay, I hear
Them
you.
is political prostitutes and pipers. Them is greedy black African people. I want Twiggy airport for the East West crowd there. Let them bypass you and get Twiggy a set of hampers and book drive and all them kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you have a center there.
But
and you
listen.
that man fight and toil
Yeah.
with the UNC.
Listen.
They bypass you and get Twiggy them thing and them. Look, I talking real, you know. Who
Yeah,
vex
yeah.
loss?
I hear
So
you. I
blessed.
hear you.
I take it in.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, okay. But I want to tell you that I believe in the concept that unfair games will be played over. What they meet you in pass you. Ability is ability. In other words, let me pause by ability. Person who doesn't have ability, that will show up eventually. And those who have ability will, of course, overwhelm and take over. So all of that is ephemeral. In fact, let me tell you this. Let me cast a little shadow over your concern. That these projects are for 6 months. And it doesn't mean to say that it cannot be renewed in the future, but I'm just saying it's a 6 month contract, 6-month contract. All right? I told an individual very recently who I respected tremendously, and I'm going to call any name and I'm going to give the circumstances for anybody to identify. But I was responsible for him being where he is today. He's on a board today. And then he turns and tells me, well, listen, Smith, you didn't have anything to do with my board appointments. So I simply laughed it off. And I hope somebody tell him that the appointment is for 3 years. After 3 years, what? After 3 years, what? You see, many people are myopic. I am a long-term thinker, and as I tell my family, the only so it will not happen exactly how I'm speaking here is if I die. You tell me don't say that, but that is a fact. I could get sick, I could get in an accident, something could happen to the car. You know, a number of things could happen. But we live in perpetual optimism. And therefore, I don't expect to die. But if I do, well, the journey ends. I hope that there's be sufficient persons to pick up the legacy and move on. For example, it's not by accident Joshua has his own program during the course of the day. But we go to the line. Let's go to the line. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Lennox, Kenrick.
Hey, good night. Long time no hear from.
Long time I call you, man.
Yeah, man. Yes. How was your birthday? Anne-Marie had hers. She spent hers very quiet.
It was quiet. I went by my son. He invited me to come over there, and we had a little drinks.
All right. Okay. So, what part of the United States you would have had to travel to? What part of the United States you would have had to travel to get to your son? Assuming that you only live in apart.
No. We was living close by. No, we live close by.
Oh, I see. Okay, right. Okay. So you went by your son.
My daughter.
All right.
Close by too, but the only one that live far is my biggest daughter live in North Carolina.
Where?
They live in close by, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, right?
Okay, well that's pretty close compared to the size of the landmass you're talking about. Yeah. All right.
I play two little girls. I play with them.
Yes, I hear you, my friend. So you had a wonderful one. All right, go ahead, make your contribution because I want to finish at 9:30.
Yeah, Lennox, I see you. I hear you talking on all the program talking about the incident over there.
Yeah,
You know, with that Samaru guy.
yeah.
Well, you know, I have my opinion that uh, you see, that's why they should have body camera.
Exactly.
You know, and nobody can point finger who and what happened. But my observation that was too much excessive force that the police did. I'm not going against the police, you know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, a defense lawyer will have a field day there. I think that the prosecution will have some problems. Yeah.
It is what I was saying is on the ground report. I was what I was trying to say is that the young woman. Why would you pull a gun on fire when with the officer knowing so much of them that you will get killed?
Yeah.
You know, that don't make no sense to me. You know, because what you gonna do? What you gonna fire? But you have no chance. So why would you do that? Why would you risk that? So
well, we see how the evidence goes when the court trial, because I mean that is enigmatic to me. That is mysterious to me. Yeah. Yeah.
Lennox, I have to tell you something.
Right.
Lennox, last week, a young guy died. Somebody killed young guy.
Yeah.
You aware of that?
You asking me a question?
Yes, from Sandy Grande, Valencia.
Go ahead.
You aware of that?
Young man.
The young guy.
I know about something in Philippines, not too far from the Prime Minister's home, but Valencia. Go ahead, speak a little more. Maybe it might come to mind.
Right. My sister just called me a while ago before your program come on.
Yeah.
And what program come on when she called me?
Okay.
And she told me that is her husband nephew.
Okay. Ah boy, it has come home. But then we ran a survey some time ago in Laventille, and not one person in that community is unaffected by crime and violence, directly or indirectly, but they know somebody or is some member of the family and so on. And it testifies to the fact that we are really a very small society, but yet still we have these very intractable and very barbaric circumstance. Yeah. Go ahead.
So my sister called me this evening, but she didn't want to tell me because it have it on the news. Well, was it on the
all right
on news and Alec, but the young boy is a young boy. She was telling me he like outgoing now.
Oh, I see.
Outside of it. Was a nice guy, like to spend money doing this, going here and going there.
All right.
But he was not a violent person. And people was thinking that he was not like that. That was his nephew, you know what I mean?
Right.
And she was telling me. She said what they did with that young man. I don't know if you know. They strip him naked.
Mm-hmm.
They burn his face.
Wow.
They burn his hand. They burn his private.
Wow.
Catch it on fire. And all that wickedness to do to that young man.
That beast in human form, boy.
That's what they do in the world.
Wow.
I started let you know on the ground.
All right, thanks. I'll look into it. I'll look into it and see if I can get some additional information.
I don't know if they are revealed that for you guys or the paper. That's what they do with that young man.
Okay.
They could not. Yesterday they had the funeral. They could not open the coffin to the family because it's very, very
gruesome. Yeah. It's an awful sight.
I mean, you reach far to burn up the boy private. And strip him naked. He was naked when they found him.
Wow.
He had no clothes on.
Yeah, but that's the level of bestiality that Trinidad.
What kind of animals that live in there, man?
Yeah.
What kind of people is that? What in human form? What is that?
Yeah.
Who would do a young man like that?
Well, there are people who would do it, and some people say that kind of gruesome
the burn up the man had, the
murders.
young man had face
They're
private,
saying
the burn up all this what private thing.
there is a saying that
Naked.
the infiltration of the Venezuelan gangs has created that evolution, if you want to call it that, or that mutation of criminal
But
behavior.
investigating who do that now. They're investigating right now. And the family going around and finding out things. So I hope that they find whoever do that. And
Yes.
punish him, hides the demon.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right,
All
Mr.
right.
Lennox.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much. As our condolences go out to your family, your sister, I believe it is, who of course is directly related by blood, I suppose, to that victim. Let's go and take another call because we want to finish at 9:30. I can't go minutes to 11 this time. All right, so let's get it clear. Plaza, good night. Let's do it as quickly as possible. Good night.
This is Dego Martin inside. Good night.
Yes.
A lead cap for me. I've been off the radio for a while.
All right, okay.
So I want to say with 2x4 piece
Yes,
on pepper sauce and new sauce.
I hear you.
She says she feels insulted that they have equated her, benchmarked her with Twiggy and Stark, etc. She says she's highly qualified. And look at where she, yeah. So I want to tell you
And she's painting pipe and picking up stones.
right. And listen to me. I want to equate her to Fitzy. Fitzy didn't pass any subject, but he became Minister of National Security. I want to equate she to Balmasi, who failed maths, but she was an AG.
Yeah.
So you have all of those things. So I don't feel she should feel embarrassed. Now the other thing say she have the files, she have the memos. She want the AG, she want Anna and all of them to put it into the public. But if she have all of that, why don't she put it into the public? You understand?
Yes.
If you saying something and you grant charges and they have it and they pass it on to this and cabinet, you should have all your contracts and everything, put it in the public, let me see.
Yeah.
And one of the untruths she said, she continued her work with the Ministry of Finance way into the term of the new government, Tanko and thing. But then she put the contract was terminated on May the 1st. The first weekend day, everything. So that's another untruth.
Yes. But you know, people have these fantasies when their public, let's say the public exposure, consequential of their attempt to try to project who they really are not in terms of their image.
And the fact that it was handed to Anna, that tells you there is merit, and that is what she's jumping up for. She know the hammer coming down.
Yeah.
So she can rant and rave about all of these who get work and things. I mean, that is employment. They say the employment, the UNC mashup thing. When the UNC employing the vex. I hear Maba saying going after
Saddam Hussein. Saddam.
Well, yes, Saddam or Parat, but
And Parat too?
I hope you don't expect them to ride you back because I don't believe they did that. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now the other thing is, I am really, really disappointed with how I don't want to talk about it, the issue with the Embassy Street, the crash and things like that. But the police, due to their past history, has been called out for this current predicament, and people have lost confidence in the police to such an extent. Anything they do, they will question them about it. For example, you remember DCP I&I?
Mm-hmm.
She had an accident with a little boy on one of the bus routes. The police say they had nothing to see there. The PCA say there is something. They charge them, and then to produce, continue with the case, they drop it. So all the credibility of police officers is questionable. And I have always said, if those officers, when they were junior, had a credibility program, had an integrity, when you put them into the executive of the police, they will still have the same question.
Yeah, it will just expand, exacerbate, and become, of course, a tremendous, not just ISO, but a total cesspool.
Right.
Yeah.
And Guerrera has his hands tied because of the non-existence of a police service commissioner. So in order to move the police service forward, I've always said, you have to change the police commissioners. But our president, who continue to spew the gospel of the pre-NM, will not do that. And she continues to appoint people. I see she put a new EDC, and I'm hearing a lot of things about that person, EDC chairman.
All right.
So we have to wait until her terms run out, because both her and the speaker, the blue-haired lady, were disgusted as speaker and president of the Senate. So we have to buy time.
Yes.
We have a 2 weeks for Parliament to open, and I suspect the second term will be action.
Yes.
Because investigation was taking place, things were happening, and we're going to move forward. I hear they bring in legislation for the judiciary of the Chancellor of the Judiciary.
The what? Relationship for what?
For Chancellor of the Judiciary.
Oh, Chancellor, yes, okay, yes. I think
Right,
that was bandied about on the campaign trail, yes. Mm-hmm.
Right, so that is one of the earliest legislation coming in the new term. That will free up the newly minted Chief Justice to look after administration laws. Too many cases have been stalled within the court for one reason or the other.
Yeah.
Just like the industrial court, look how stupid it is.
Yeah, well, it seems as though it's an ecology of what I consider be either missteps or incompetence or dysfunctionality, because is the police, is the judiciary, is even the prison system. Sometimes they too create delays for persons entering the court and therefore seeking justice. So that whole ecology, that whole justice system ecology has to be revamped, and it has to be done by people who not just have a love but genuinely wants to generate the efficiency that will result in the effectiveness and therefore the confidence of the population in our justice, in our criminal justice system. But go ahead.
And people have to understand, where the PNM took us, they took us to ground zero, and Rome wasn't built in one day.
Yes. Over time, that adjustment has to be made. Yeah.
Because every single institution have been tampered with, and they have put people in those positions who are incompetent.
Yeah. Mediocrity was institutionalized by the PNM. I have no doubt in my mind. And the only thing could result from that is corruption, nepotism, cronyism, incompetence, and of course dysfunctionality, as we are seeing now unfolding on a daily basis. It is simply unacceptable. Go ahead.
And the thing is the whole jigsaw puzzle has to be reconstructed, and the easiest piece that gives you the highest value, that is what has to be worked on.
Yeah. If the judiciary could speed up in spite of the challenges,
right.
Yeah, it means therefore that is one cog in that very complex dysfunctional wheel.
But the judiciary is a hard sell and hard fix, I want people to go back to appeal court bureau when he was leaving, when he says some judges were complicit in their judgment,
Yeah.
he said Court of Appeal. People go back and listen to that 4 weeks ago. Listen to what he said. He said 2 of the judges, from his vantage, gave the wrong decision because they might have been afraid. If he could say so as an appellate court judge, then that could tell you a lot of those judges
Well-
can be complicit.
Well,
based
that
on the
it means
judgment.
therefore there goes our argument that, or that reinforces our argument that the quality of the individuals and the fact that if you have a zero tolerance for incompetence via mediocrity, then you're on your way to having a robust and fearless judiciary.
Right. Lennox?
Yes. Okay then.
Raya, you want to leave with-
Yeah. I want to leave just now. All right. People, let me go straight, of course, to the video at the back of me. As I said, that video is designed to prove what I said last night in terms of the embassies that would have visited us, or in this case, what I've done is put into the mix where we went. Like for example, I visited the IMF in Washington. Yes, I did. I visited, of course, the several other institutions in the United States of an international nature, including, of course, the Inter-American Development Bank. But let's go to the line. Please lower the volume on your device. Lower the volume on your device. You are in. Go ahead.
Yeah, good night, sir.
Good night, my friend.
Good night. To the corridor of transformation.
Yes, man.
Yes, sir, and good night to the honorable political leader of Love the Rocket himself. You know, my brother, it has so much issues taking place, and been most. If something is humbuging us, Mr. Lennox, you always say the truth shall set you free.
Oh yes, all the time.
Mr. Lennox, yeah, over the years you have helped thousands of people who just there and nothing is happening. Now I send message to particular persons, right, for my issues. Mr. Lennox, this is not right, boy. Look, my workplace there, I retire now, I did 6 years. My workplace wasn't paying my NIS for almost 9 years, boy. 9 years. Look,
Wow.
I apply now for my little pension, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's having issues now because the NIB now, they're not seeing the contributions, right? There's somebody had to be held accountable for this, man. That is in breach and violation of our collective agreement, the Industrial Relations Act. We have a constitution under section 23, where they state that when a worker gets damaged on the job, right? Me no contractor, as a permanent worker over the years I work, I passed the 10-year collective agreement, right? So I make my flat 14 and something years there. Now what happened? What God, man, let me go in peace, man. Give me my money, pay my contribution. Mr. Lennox, I am sending my request for the NIS pension claim.
Right.
And I'm having issues in it now, boy, Lennox, boy.
How long ago? How long now?
I sent in my request there on January, the 90 working days. I mean, this is
I
not
know
right,
we are in what, May?
Yeah, the 90 working days ended this month.
Ending of May? Yeah.
It ended this month. That is no Saturday, no Sunday, no holidays, right?
Right.
So I check it in the ending of this month, sometime this ending of this week here. No, this
Okay.
is not right, man. I want my monthly NIS pension. I work hard over the years in the public sector, right? I work in the hospital. I work in National Security, Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Works and Transport, Forestry. That was agriculture, Foreign Affairs, right? I mean, oh gosh, man, and over the years in multiple other private enterprises, right? Some of the other enterprises also, there was not, and I wish the medical property contribution sheets, you're seeing the years of work, but the contributions,
Yeah.
it was not being, because
I'll have to cut you here because remember I want to get out of here on time tonight. Yes.
I will close it up just now. What
Yes.
happened? I seen the years I work in the contribution sheet, but the contribution it not registering in the NIB. I mean, oh gosh, man, look right now I have 9 years contribution.
Okay.
9 years for this in the corporation they to pay me my contribution.
Wow.
But
I'm sure that some of them are listening. Zakru, the Minister of Transport, with responsibility for PTSE, which of course is where your focus is and where you spent your last working days. If you can look into that, that would be very, very appreciated. But I will do something again because I think we have a more, what I consider to be listener, or should I say, worker-friendly government, and I see him as no exception.
Yeah, all I asking at this point in time is for some sort of adjustment, because I asked them to have a review back with the documents, because it's not my fault. They said they will have correct all these issues. I mean, Lennox, what was this? Stay quiet and stay like
No. You cannot stay quiet. It is in your interest not to stay quiet until your matter is resolved. All right? Thanks very much.
This is a serious thing. We'll discuss again this tomorrow, please God.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, same to you. All right, people, let's go straight, of course, to that video. Boy, we have another call. Pleasant good night to welcome to the corridor.
Pleasant good night to you, Uncle Lennox. Uncle Lennox,
hey.
You see the statement you make, right? That, is a little Kobo sweat, and it have an expiry date and a shelf life. Right. Now, I want your good friend to know, and others, that the Kobo sweat they get, after that period of time, the existence may not be longer. And this is why I'll tell you on the air tonight, when I tell you, it have better things to look forward to getting to do than a Kobo sweat.
Yeah.
A pleasant good night.
Yes.
And thank you, listeners. And join us tomorrow for the ground report. And tomorrow night, please God, for corridor transformation. Let Uncle Lennox pause on that video and go and get the beauty seat. Because last night, I keep it till 11:05. And thank you, listeners. And tomorrow, please God. Love you all. Sweet dreams.
Thank you very much, of course, for that preemptive strike, so to speak. You have close off before I decided so to do. So that is nice. All right, people, of course, you'll see the video there, but I see it has started over. So right there, as I said, it is about the newspaper recordings of the various visits and the communications and the interactions we would have had with serious institutions, again, to look at the whole question of advisories against Trinidad and Tobago, keeping in mind that Laventille and parts of Laventille has been mentioned in these advisories, and we say, well, listen, we have a duty and responsibility as an all-of-community approach to do what? To exonerate, to reduce, if not eliminate, that threat. And therefore, when these people were invited, in the picture you have there now, let me just get it back for you. Picture you see there now is, of course, a former High Commissioner to the United Kingdom. No, not to United Kingdom. The United Kingdom Ambassador or High Commissioner to Trinidad and Tobago. And here he is, of course, looking. The school is not too far from here. That's his girls' school. That's East Port of Spain. Not East Port of Spain Girls' School, but the Eastern Girls school. And here the ambassador is looking at one of the young girls as she reads for him, and they were very, very enthused. That is me standing there above him, but my face is out of the picture in the red shirt. Some people might say, some people might connect that to the PNM. No, it has nothing to do with the PNM. It had to do, of course, with a visit, and I happened to have on a red shirt. So here you see bending, of course, and looking at the students. Here in the other picture on the other side, you will see, of course, it is headline, Diplomat Tours East Port of Spain. Yes, because of MLIO, because of us. Understand? And we will damn well do it again, because the problem has not been eliminated. And so, of course, here he is. Joshua is attending that school now, but then Joshua would not have been there at all. But here he is talking to the boys in the boys' school, Eastern Boys Primary School. So that's the British High Commissioner. How he got here? Well, we had to arrange for police escorts, of course, from the High Commission to here on George Street. And then, of course, we would have had in the shadows police officers escorting us along the street. We were walking, we were not driving. Walking along George Street, and we went as far as the secondary school on Nelson Street, which is known as Southeast. We went there as well and met with the teachers and the principal and so on, and some of the students. That is the kind of vision we have for our community. Who else in Trinidad and Tobago have done that? Yes, we invented the steel pan. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
Yeah, good night, Lennox.
Good night.
Their voice was not talking there about walking 50 years, see?
Yeah.
I know that brother real good. He's a man was in the trenches and in the fighting and thinking the Lennox.
Yeah. I know him well as well. Yes. Know him well as well.
But Lennox, it have people in those in authorities, they can move red flag.
Yeah, I agree.
And let people get things, because they move red flag and give people things. Because Lennox, when I was either fighting or Lennox, when I was with the PNM day, when I was going to Europe, they tried to blacklist me. And move red flag for me immediately. Was in charge of European Paris Ramano.
Right. So it could happen. If it can happen then, it can happen now.
Yeah, he told me I could walk. He told me I could walk from Europe from Monday.
Right.
Them can move red flag, them no support, them
yeah.
no the support.
Thank you very much, but I want to finish. Thank you very much. I want to finish. Please. All right? It's tomorrow night. Yes, indeed, of course. So there we have it with respect, of course, to the British High Commissioner that visited us. And, of course, here's another Guardian report, now a Guardian report on the same subject, so that we did it. So that's the point. And these are the verification. These are the records. Can't wash away. When this was, this particular one was Saturday. This was the Guardian of Saturday, September 29, 2012. 2012. And of course, that was when the UNC would have been in office between 2010 and 2015. We did it. And we could do it again. And in fact, we are doing it again. Because we are right here on George Street at our resource center. Let me just get another picture for you so that we could yes. Here it is. We have the Canadian PM Rights Laventil Civic Group. That's us, yes. MLIO. Of course, Brian Mulroney was the Prime Minister at the time. I'm not seeing the date of this particular article clearly, but I want to tell you that there is it. It's recorded that the Canadian PM writes Laverton. Of course, he wrote a wonderful letter. I don't have a copy of the letter. Otherwise, I would have put it with this particular news article. Let's go to the next one time. Yes, indeed. We have been working and we continue to work and we can do it. I don't know why they want to reinvent. I don't know, somebody wants to reinvent the wheel. There's no need to. Here, of course, we have a former president of the country, Noor Hassan Ali, giving to one of the most troubling students. You think You think them fellas who giving trouble now could I get trouble like that fella Digans? And listen to the award that he got. Most improved trainee. President Noor Hassan Ali, that is the article, that's what the article is saying. President Noor Hassan Ali hands an award to Julian Digans for the most improved trainee. That is what we are talking about. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. We have it there. It is more cost effective. People know what they are doing. They have been there before and all of that. Why it is you want to make your mistakes, put your hand in fire to know it burns, and when of course you get it burned up, you then of course calling on people like us to of course assist you and bail you out. Let us get there from day one. So Julian graduated from the arc welding course and is now employed with the Port of Spain. Is now employed with the Port Authority. Then he was employed with the Port Authority, and eventually he became a wardsman up at the Port of Spain Hospital. Yes, that is what we did. That is what I'm talking about. So I'm proving to you that this exists and existed. This article, I don't know which one of the papers it was, but it was Monday, October 7th, 1991. 1991 on page, I think I've seen page 5 there. So come on. Let's not waste time. Those who have to step aside, they will naturally step aside because they are incompetent, they are opportunistic and they get a blind eye. Nothing wrong with that. But let people who know and who have the experience take charge. We cannot afford mediocrity and experimentation. Trinidad and Tobago is not in a position to chance or to take those kinds of risks. Here it is, of course, we have the World Bank. This is a newspaper article, yes, the Newsday of Tuesday, June the 2nd, 1998. World Bank representative praise MLIO program. And there she is, of course, in front of the classroom. At that time we were situated in Juman's Drive, a beautiful facility we constructed, which was taken away from us by the PNM. Yeah. So you understand my anathema and my total, and I say so with a high degree of confidence, that the PNM cannot comprehend and cannot function in the interests of Laventil, East Port of Spain, Beetham, Sealats, and so they cannot, simply because they believe that these places are not already shell. Cannot function. Yes, indeed. And of course, let me just read a little piece of it. The diverse programs of the Mobile Laventil Improvement Organization Committee, MLIO, came in for high praises from a World Bank official who toured the MLIO facility at Coconut Drive. You see, so it was there, Coconut Drive in Movant. Yes, we did it already, man. Let's go to the next one. Quickly, yes. Well, of course, apart from visits, we visit as well. So here am I in Grenada, presenting, of course, the then Prime Minister with a memorandum. We signed a memorandum of understanding that MLIO will now be part and parcel of their community development initiative. In fact, I was there for 6 months and they put me on a board to deal with awards and national festivals. Imagine that. I am from Trinidad, 6 months, and I was already, of course, being recruited by the political directorate in Grenada. But that being as it may, this particular news item was, of course, in the Trinidad Guardian, Friday, August 20th, 1983. No, can't be 83 because we started in 84. So it's 1993. And of course, Grenada's PM backs MLIO's initiative to forge links. That is what we are talking about. So we have been there. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. No need to. Let's go to the next item on that video. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, here it is, of course, and this is one that I really relish. Here is where I let me just go back there. All right. This, of course, is when I went to Washington, and you'll see me in the middle there, standing up next to Professor Bennett, and all of those white guys. You see, white male and white female. All of those are students of the university, the American University in Washington. And let me tell you this: what I learned there is that these students, those who go to that university, are really the sons and family of persons on Capitol Hill. In other words, senators and politicians in the United States. Very, very high. So I chose to go there because then the philosophy was, what is rubbish for them across there is utility for us here. So the plan was to go there, settle, and of course send computers that they are not using, send cars, send vehicles, send buses, etc. That was the plan. And of course have a mentorship program with that university, which we accomplished, but it soon dissipated when the PNM came into office over the many years subsequently. So there we have it. And when I came back, I told the people of Laventille, listen, Smith, notice the article, throw off the shackles of inferiority. And I'll tell you why after this program, after this call. A pleasant good night. Welcome. Quickly.
Yes, blessed good night to the whole screen and the whole world and the wider region.
Yes, man.
I wanted to reach this, what I want to say, I want to reach internationally to the heads and them in this world.
Go ahead.
Because a lot of things going on in Trinidad and Tobago. You see this UNC government who in power right now, and pretending that they're helping out our fellow African dying in slavery in this country. Right? Today I call Saddam office. Right? Because Saddam promised my work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I don't have no way or means of getting through in China and Tobago. Only people are hiring right now, young girls, sick people, Caucasian, outsiders, big bottom woman, and girls who promoting the body. All the young Africans and them who God gives strength to work, not working in this country. Right? So what's that all the unemployed Africans in this country who trying to attract the self to a woman, right? And a woman watching that man as not a ready-made man or a man who unemployed, right?
Yeah.
What do you think the unemployed, vulnerable black man in this country would do? Not go and commit crime? So all the crime happening in this country is because of the women in our society only causing men to do sin and not helping men stop sin. So I call them right now because I was somebody to hear what it is I'm saying, right?
All right, yeah. Let me ask you something. If you get a job, if you call it tomorrow and you get a job, what would you say?
I will say thanks. I will feel congratulated in Trinidad and Tobago because at the end of the day, since I live in all my life here, I have no family here. All my family flower town leave Trinidad. The last thing my mother tell me, if man not alive and man not in PNM again, she leave here and I never see my mother again. I swear to God, I have no family in this country and I have nowhere in this country I could go as a black strong African and get help in this country. Don't let nobody fool all you and let nobody tell all you that they're helping people in Trinidad and they're helping black men. The black men them in this country have been victimized, stigmatized, prejudged, and every day somebody coming to discriminate against you. Look, for instance, right? People seeing Africans in society moving, and as they see it, they're shunning you with some kind of bad feeling.
All right, thanks very much. Thanks very much. Yeah. Thank you very much. You seem to have had a bad experience. All right, so let's take this thing to conclusion. We're going to deal with that separately because he just said that if he got the job, he'll be thankful. So look as though he is a bit distraught at this point in time. All right, Smith, the article says, of course, Smith to Laventille. throw off shackles of inferiority. But why did I say that? I said that because when I went there, I was being served by Chinese, by all kinds of very different ethnic groups, but groups even Syrians and persons who you'll be considered to be part and parcel of the 1% in Trinidad. And so I told them, well, listen, here it is that there's nothing significantly different in terms of ability between us and any other race. They may be Chinese, they may be Syrians and so on. And in Trinidad wise, of course, we pay maybe superior or superlative attention to these people. Really and truly, it is about ability. And because I was in Washington, I was in New York, and I was served by Chinese and Syrians and so on, who are ordinary waitresses and bartenders and so on in that country, and therefore pay no such inferiority complex, or have no such inferiority complex for these people. Again, one of the motivating, what I consider to be utterances, consequential of a practical experience coming back home from my trip into the United States at the where I did a bit of lecturing at the university, the American University, and then of course doing what I have to do there. In fact, I want to tell you that they were the ones, after making the application, and through Professor Bennett, the man I'm standing next to in the center of the picture, he got the administrators there to give us all of their old computers, the computers that they were changing, and I got it to Trinidad, and thus the start of the first ever community-based computer literacy program. And the date of this particular article is December the 24th, so that's one day before Christmas of 1997. So we have been there. There's no need to push your hand in fire to know it burns. And I could say that with supreme confidence, that if you give us the opportunity, we are going to transform this place, and no law enforcement efforts could do it, except for the ecology that are all of community can manifest and materialize on a sustained basis. Let's go to the next one. I think we have about two more, and that's it. This one, of course, yes, this is the another of the picture taken in the United States at the American University. All the students that I lectured to, they are there, and of course Professor Bennett standing next to me there. So I should put it a different color so you get a better appreciation. Yes, indeed. Let's go further. But again, quickly, that's is past time. Yes, of course. As a consequence of that, what happened is that the professor, the American University, see, that's their letterhead. They wrote, of course, to Patrick Manning, who was the Prime Minister then, indicating that MLIO is the best type of program. I'm not going to read the entire thing tomorrow. Probably I'll read it for addressing the then and even now intractable socio-economic and psycho-cultural problems that we were facing then and we are facing now. Of course, I met with Patrick Manning on several occasions and made recommendations even for the pooling of those various or should I say temporary training program, whether it be MyLab, MyTap, and the others, saying we should pull them together, and at the end of the school year, like take for instance, all now, you put a cluster of school, put a desk in one school representing a cluster of schools, and then ask the students and whether or not they want to go to YTEP, they want to go to MyLab, MyTap, or even the Conservation Corps, and in that way you get them after the holidays would have completed in August straight into a program, rather than having to wait and have the negative elements influence them, and then of course they gravitate to a life of crime. That is what we have been doing. That is what we did, man. Nobody could tell me otherwise, because nobody else has that kind of expertise in Trinidad and Tobago. I could say that without fear of contradiction. There's none. And therefore, it is disheartening for me. Wanting, of course, to share and to provide, as I say, free of charge if necessary, in order to address this intractable situation with our young people. The window of opportunity is still here. I don't know if it's going to close as the situation deteriorates, but certainly we need to get somewhere. Let me just read this part of the letter. I split the letter in two. So this part of it, as a professor of justice at the American University in Washington, D.C., and a policy expert in crime prevention, I was very impressed with the focus of the MLIO program. Listen, this is a professor from another country, the United States, talking here, and they don't understand that is what all they have to do. It is based on the theory that crime prevention begins with creating opportunities for people to become part of they are able to secure jobs and they become productive citizens. As scholars and policy makers know, crime is only prevented by attacking its roots in the community, such as poverty, a lack of opportunity, a lack of education, and lack of family values and discipline. Just more police, listen to this, just more police or stiffer penal sentences won't solve the nation's increasingly severe crime problem. In the long run, programs like MLIO require less financial support and governmental resources that police or penal programs and evidence a greater effect on crime. In short, they are very cost effective. That is to say, programs like MLIO, very cost effective crime prevention program. Again, I was impressed with the activities of MLIO and hope that you and your government will look into this program and others like it as a viable part of a strategic solution to the increasing crime problem. Sincerely, Richard R. Bennett, Professor of Justice, Department of Public Administration of the American University in Washington. That is what we are talking about. That is what we did. That is already recorded. And of course, I think we have the final one. Let me see if yeah. And then of course we have this one here. Let me just, yes. This one of course is from the visit of the Indian High Commissioner. Walked these same streets here, and he passed the same route that the British High Commissioner passed. That is to say, visited both Eastern boys, Eastern girls, the secondary school Southeast, and walked the streets and look at the market vendors and all of them, and the roadside vendors, etc., and had a look at the buildings and even the police post that is on Duncan Street. He did all of that. And of course, his letter here is not visible to me, but we'll have an opportunity to read it on another occasion. Let me just see if I can make it somewhere. Dear Mr. Smith, the ambassador says, I am, all right, I can't make it out. So, but of course, that is what we did. And so people, I want to commend you because I want to start a campaign, online and offline, to beseech the government of Trinidad and Tobago to have programs like these be part and parcel. It is not now, part and parcel of the cadre of solutions to the crime problems, particularly among our young people. I think I have proven my ability And I ain't talking yet about my qualifications yet. Let's just say that I have a teacher background. I taught at Piccadilly Government and other institutions, right? With several other, what I should say, academic qualifications that I'll disclose at some other time. Let us get this thing going. You have a duty. Call whosoever and let them know that there is a sustainable solution to the problem of our young people, particularly in places such as East Port of Spain, Laventille, and so on, and that if you are on board, the problem of crime and criminality, blue-collar crime, if you solve the Laventille problem, you solve that. But if you are not so inclined, at least give us an opportunity to address the problem with the full support of the state, full support of the government. I want to say this finally, that I am talking like this because my party, Love, is part of the coalition of interests. It means, therefore, that when people talk bad about the government, or if it cannot solve a particular problem, I have to be, my party and I have, as political leader, have to be partially blamed. How you want me to take part of the blame, and you're not giving me the opportunity, having been a specialist in a particular direction, a direction where the entire country has concern about, and I am part and parcel of the government, and you are engaged, of course, in what I consider to be procrastination. We cannot afford procrastination. A year has already passed. These things would take a little time. I say within 6 to 9 months, we should have a very robust national program looking at every nook and cranny in this country that produces the kind of youths across the board that we all are concerned with, and we have to start somewhere. And I have the plans and the details and the modules to execute by delivery into the respective communities. Have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. And I look forward to your support as far as the petition to have the government look at programs like this, as the professor have said many, many moons ago. And if we had that, if the PNM was conscious about Laventille, and tomorrow night I will show you more as to why the PNM cannot be trusted and will not be able to deliver because it is slash and burn politics in these parts only for power in order to abuse us and at the same time line their respective pockets through nepotism, cronyism, and mediocrity, something that Trinidad and Tobago cannot afford since it is not sustainable. Have a wonderful one. God bless, and see you tomorrow on the ground report as Andy and myself, of course, do it for you. Yes, indeed. If Trinidad was a boat, well, all of us, well, it could be considered a boat, and all of us must be able to sail on it proudly.
If Trinidad is a boat sailing on the earth, go sail on it. Oh Lord, I go sail on it. Whether it fast or slow, wheresoever it goes, I go in with it. Tell them I go in with it. I go sail when the tide is large. I go sail when the tide is near. If she going to hell and back, I go make the trip. I'm bound to make the trip. I sailing with the boat, sink or float. I sailing with the boat. I sailing with the boat, sink or float. I sailing with the boat. Through hurricane and storm, hell or high water come, and when she needs a bush, I go into bush like bush. If Trinidad is a boat, I go sail on it, sink or float.
foundation, grassroots, you got to know the truth. If you don't know where you're coming from, you don't know where to go. Look at culture, Anthony Selassie. Say so.
Long ago.
Long time ago.
Yes, long ago. Pirates had their fun in the burning sun. 16 men.
16 men.
And a dead man's chest. Yo, yo, yo. And a bottle of rum.
Summertime. What kind of baby, mama she a get shot. Is it a king, is it a princess? So you see me generation travel through the stress.
16 men.
16 men.
And a dead man's chest. Yo, 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 yo.
Sounds kind of funny, but that's true.
Long ago. Hey. Yes, long ago. Pirates had their fun in the bird.